Are you thinking about moving to Bulgaria and have no idea where to start? Hi, I'm Laura, and this is mine and my husband's renovation project in Bulgaria. If you've been following our videos, you'll know that we've been renovating this house for the last 2 years in Bulgaria, and boy, have we found out some secrets and tips on how to buy and be successful here. In this video, myself and Anthony will be revealing some of the tricks of the trade, some things and people to watch out for, how to get a visa if you are a non-EU citizen, and how to avoid getting scammed. This is our how-to guide on how to buy a house in Bulgaria for 2025. To kick off our guide, let's show you the basic steps of how to buy a property in Bulgaria. Of course, first you're going to select a house. Once you've made the offer, you then set up your company in Bulgaria if you're a non-EU citizen. You visit the notary, which is the Bulgarian lawyer, with the owner of the property, and then you organise your utilities and get ready to live in your new house. One of the most commonly asked questions that we receive is, how do you even buy a house in Bulgaria? Since leaving the EU, it has become almost impossible for non-EU citizens to purchase properties in the European Union. However, it's not impossible. As a British person, all you need to do is set up a Bulgarian company. This applies if you want to buy the land and a house. If you just want to buy a building, then you can actually do this without a Bulgarian company. This is standard practice in Bulgaria. It's been going on for many years already. And before we were even in the European Union, this is what people were doing. So don't worry, if you're British and you want to buy a house in Bulgaria, it's completely possible. Here are some legal things that you need to check if you're buying a house in Bulgaria. The agent should check these for you so that you don't have to worry about it. At Bulgarian Property Experts, for example, Gemma organizes all of this for you so you don't have to worry about it. I will write a list of all of the reputable agents that we have heard of. We have first-hand experience with Bulgarian Property Experts, so that's why we recommend Gemma. I'm going to hand over to Anthony now, who's going to tell you what to look out for and what to avoid when buying a property here so that you don't end up with a ceiling that's going to collapse on you or something scary like a sinking foundation or something like this. It's easy to fall in love with the stunning landscapes of rural Bulgaria. However, before you fall in love with the views, the garden or the price, start with the most important thing, the condition of the property. Many Bulgarian village houses look charming, but they can hide some expensive surprises. We were lucky enough to have Anthony's dad, who is a builder, on hand to check our house with us before we bought it, but you may need some extra tips. So let's check out what to look for when you're looking at Bulgarian properties.
Walk around and look for cracks in the foundation and the brickwork. So there is a little crack here, if you can see. But clearly that's happened quite a while ago because someone's chucked some mortar in there to try and cover it up. It is a little bit harder on these brick and stone built buildings because they don't have render on the outside, and the render would really easily show you where there are cracks. Like I said, there's a little one here, but that's really not that bad. It's a tiny hairline crack. It's diagonal, it's big diagonal cracks that you want to look out for, because that means there's been some movement in the foundation and then it's traveled up the wall. Also, something you should maybe look out for is most of our house is built and it's got this concrete band around the outside, but this is an extension and I don't know who built it, but there's a huge crack between the brickwork, and can you see there's like those bricks like sticking out by a good inch and a half. Whoever built this extension did not do it to the standard of the rest of the building. So in this room, which is part of the extension, the concrete floor has got huge cracks running through it, where they obviously haven't done the same foundation work on the extension than what is done in the rest of the house. So another thing to look out for is just missing bricks. See, this whole corner here is just missing a huge chunk. Luckily, I know that's fine because I did that. It wasn't like that when we got here. that's something that I've done, but it would be something to look out for, is just obvious damage on the outside of the building. Another thing, you might get to your dream house and look at it and think, oh, this one is rendered, but you've got to be careful. It probably isn't render, it's probably mud brick. And with mud brick, it's fine as long as it doesn't get wet. And then the main thing to look out for then is the roof, because any cracks, it will just wash your walls away. Any water gets through the cracks and just washes the brick down the drain. This little bit of video, I'm not going to get the drone out because most people aren't going to have a drone to just go up and look at the roof. So you could get your phone like I'm doing now and zoom in and see if you can notice anything. This one, when we bought it, the ridge tiles had just been cemented down. So that's quite a good sign that there's been some work done on the roof. So just looking out for any obvious missing tiles. And chimneys. Chimneys tend to leak around the edges. I still need to do some work on mine, but there's nothing, you know, dangerous. It's not structural. It's not going to fall down and cave the bloody roof in. If you do have a drone, perfect. We've done it for some people where we've taken a drone up to look at their roof just to confirm that there isn't any major damage. But most of the time you can see from a distance if the roof looks nice and level and if there's anything, you know, obviously gone wrong, because it will normally be bowed and it will look very obvious. But you should go into the loft and look at all of the beams. Go in there, have a little poke, make sure nothing's rotten or broken, because you know, you really can't tell until you get your hands on. This is my little girl's room, and you can't really see, but there was a huge diagonal crack going from an exterior wall through an interior wall. But it didn't look like there'd been any movement in a while. It looked like it had settled, and I filled it in and there's been no more cracks have appeared. Another example of hairline cracks. Above the doors, almost every single room in our house had hairline cracks above the doors. And to be fair, obviously at this point you've already bought the house, but if you fill them with a filler or if you plaster over them and they don't reappear, it just shows that they weren't anything. They're tiny, you know, and obviously houses settle and houses move. And if you cover them and then they don't reappear, they're not anything to worry about. But if you were to find a big crack, fill it in, and then like it started to crack in the same place again, you know that there's still movement in your foundation, and then there's something serious that you have to address there.
The next question everybody asks is, do you need a visa to live and work in Bulgaria? And the answer is yes, if you are British. If you are a European citizen, you're absolutely fine to live and work in Bulgaria and purchase property. We now have Irish passports, so we're classed as EU citizens. So now, thankfully, we don't have to worry about having a visa D. Unfortunately, there have been a lot of instances of scam visas for the trade representative route, including us. So Bulgaria has now put in place several laws to make it much more difficult for scammers to obtain fake visas for British citizens. Here is the website that you will need to look at to see which visa criteria you fall into. If you're British and you are retirement age, or if you have a limited company that falls under this criteria, then you should be okay to grab a visa D. There is a caveat with this situation. Getting a visa D is not easy. Do not let anybody tell you it's easy. Don't let any of these TikTokers or other YouTubers tell you it's easy, because it is absolutely not. Even when you have all the paperwork and everything is all good, it is never ever easy. So please be aware that it is a huge challenge to get any documentation when you are coming to Bulgaria. Let me know in the comments if you'd like me to do a full video on just the visa stuff. Aside from visas and dodgy agents, what can you expect to get for your money here in Bulgaria? Well, now that Bulgaria is joining the euro, you can expect to see agents taking advantage of that and upping the price. However, many genuine agents are still sticking to the prices, and to be honest, the owners of these properties are the ones that set the price most of the time. So don't always blame the agents if there is a high price. The good news is it's still very easy to find a village property for under £15,000. Areas such as Veliko Tarnovo and Varna will be higher in price as you get closer to the city centre. So try to look for up-and-coming areas. For example, there's a lot of really nice villages and towns in Targoviste and also in the Vratsa region. One tip I will say is if you are going to go with an agent, ask the agent what services will you provide after I've bought the property. If you don't speak the language, you're going to find it incredibly difficult to connect the electricity, the water, and to figure out how all of the documents go for your house. You also need to pay a yearly house tax, which is a little bit like your council tax. So you're going to need somebody who can help you with that. Again, I'm going to put all our contacts in the description of this video. And I will also link to our ebook, which is on our Patreon, which gives you all of this information in one document. Unless you are going to be buying a house that is right outside the city, for example, Veliko Tarnovo or Varna or even Sofia, please be aware that many of these people selling houses are going to really up the price if they see that you are not Bulgarian. If the village is very rural and doesn't have a lot going on and you're going to be paying over £50,000 and the land is not very big, then I would start questioning the price tag. Here are also some survival phrases and words in Bulgarian to help you win over the locals. When we came here and we spoke Bulgarian, the people were so lovely and so welcoming. So if you want to win over your potential future neighbors, then here are some words and phrases. The first one is Здравейте, здравейте. That means hello. To say thank you, you can also say Благодаря, or you can just say Merci. A really, really sweet one as well is Приятно ми е. Приятно ми е. That means it's nice to meet you. Приятно ми е. You can also introduce yourself by saying Аз съм. That means I am. Аз съм Laura. Приятно ми е. The language is so important to people in Bulgaria. So if they can see that you are trying to learn their language, you'll win them over instantly. Let me know in the comments if there's anything that you think that we've missed on this house buying guide for 2025. This information was all from this year. It could still change if you're looking at this in 2026. So please comment and we'll reply when we can. Thank you so much for watching this video. We are so happy that you're here with us. Please don't forget to like and comment under this video. And why not subscribe if you haven't become one of our subscribers already? Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you are going to be finding your house in Bulgaria. I hope this has been helpful and we'll see you on the next one. Ciao.